Dahil we are now going to proceed on the final topic of this afternoon. I would like also to remind everyone to please fill out the attendance and the evaluation form na nasa chat box po natin, especially yung ating mga nasa online participants. Okay? Allow me to introduce the next speaker of our afternoon session. Okay? Engineer Sir Marcelito R. Mangawang. Marcelito Mangawang currently serves as the Laboratory Head and Quality Manager of the IIEE Foundation Incorporated Testing Laboratory, Vice Chairman of the DTI BPS Technical Committee for Lamps and Related Equipments, also known as the BPS TC64, and convener of the BPS TC4 WG1 for the development of the Philippine Standards for Parol or the Philippine Christmas Lanterns. He is also a member of the DOE EUMB Technical Working Group for the Philippine Energy Labeling Program or the PELP, a technical expert assessor for the electrical testing of the Philippine Accreditation Bureau or the PAB, a 2019 IEC Young Professional and member of various IEC TC34 working groups, and current chairman of the RME Affairs and Electricians Academy Committee. Let us all welcome Sir Marcelito R. Mangawang.
So thank you everyone. So ito na yung finale natin. So all of the topics presented in this technical summit are related naman sa RME, sa ating mga colleagues na RME. So the way to end this is to discuss the programs offered by the IIEE. So pwede ba makita yung presentation? Wait lang. Okay. Ano ba yung back? Di ata gumagana tong clicker woods. Page 1 muna. Siya doon nasa gitna. Yan. So the topic for my presentation is IE programs for RMEs and NLEPs. So NLEP stands for Non-Licensed Electrical Practitioners. So more or less, technically, ito yung mga walang lisensya po na ating mga kasama na practitioners. Oops, sorry. Oops, nagloloko yung clicker. Nagloloko yung clicker ko. Manual na lang. Wait lang, technical difficulties. Oops. Ba't nag-ano? Okay. So next. Sa third slide na tayo. So, third slide. So yan. So oops. So yan. Okay. Third slide. So yan. So before we proceed, we will discuss first the governing legal framework for a registered master electrician. So yung topic ko today deals more on the programs of IIE for both the RME and NLEP. Pero before proceeding to that, we will discuss ano ba yung mga legal framework na ano natin for registered master electrician. Next. So as we all know, our legal framework has always been the RA 7920 or the new EE law. So the title, an act providing for more responsive and comprehensive regulation for the practice, licensing, and registration of electrical engineers and electricians. So under this, merong 4 na section na medyo nakaka-relate kumbaga para sa RME. Ito yung section 18, the qualifications of applicants for RME examinations. The section 19C, the scope of examination. Section 31C, the field of practice. And section 33, the personnel required. So next. So under the RME field of practice, as per the RA 7920, section 31C, medyo distinct yung practice ng RME since according to the law, RMEs can practice installation, wiring, operation, maintenance, and repair of electrical machinery, equipment and devices, etc. Provided na yung installation is hindi lalagpas ng 500 kilovolt ampere or ng 600 volts. So that's the limitation for RME. Once na nag-exceed yung practice, pag nag-exceed yung ginagawa ng RME to the threshold, yung sa 500 kilovolt amperes or sa 600 volts, pwede niya pa rin naman gawin yun, wala namang problema. Yun nga lang, kailangan niya ng supervision ng mas mataas na lisensya. So that's the time that he needs to work under the supervision of an REE or a PEE. So below that limit, 500 kilovolt ampere, 600 volts, pwedeng gumawa yung RME ng walang supervision. Next. So ano ba yung qualifications ng RME na nakalagay sa section 18? So sa section 18, merong 5 qualifications. So the first is dapat citizen siya ng Pilipinas or a Filipino citizen. Second is at least 18 years of age. Third is of good reputation with high moral values. And fourth, not been finally convicted by the court of an offense involving moral turpitude. Next. So yung last requirement naman deals on the experience. So ito, isa to sa pinaka-importanting malaman, not only of RME, but also yung mga kasama natin dyan na magsicertify ng RME, this RME licensure examination. Ang requirement po sa experience is pag yung ating applicant is at least 3 years na sa BSEE or EET program, kailangan niya po ng 1 year na practice or apprenticeship. Pag 2 years naman, ang natapos niya na electrician's course or techbook, ang kakailanganin niya is 2 years na apprenticeship. Pag 1 year lang yung natapos niya na electrician's course or techbook, kailangan niya ng 3 years apprenticeship. And kung high school graduate siya or equivalent, kakailanganin niya yung 5 years apprenticeship. So minsan may mga nagtatanong, what if kunyari hindi related yung course ko, business ad ako, pero nagpa-practice ako na, kumbaga, in certain number of years, nag-practice ako ng electrical engineering, pwede pa rin naman po kayong kumuha ng RME, provided, nang susundin nyo rito is yung requirement dun sa last requirement, which is kailangan nyo ng 5 years na apprenticeship. Dapat mapatunayan nyo na meron kayong at least na 5 taon na ginugol na apprenticeship. Apprenticeship, ang ibig pong sabihin nito is under kayo ng supervision ng isang licensed electrical practitioner, be it RME, REE, or PEE. Next. Yung ating PRBE noong 2022, naglabas siya ng list of requirements, specific requirements, na kung saan itinatakda nila, based dun sa 5 qualifications na itinakda ng batas, kung ano pa yung mga additional requirement na nire-require nila sa mga applicants. So they said for an RME applicant, kakailanganan nyo ng birth certificate, Kung kasal ka na babae, kailangan mo ng marriage contract. Kung gagamitin mo yung apelyido ng asawa mo. And of course, yung record na natapos mo sa educational mo, which is either a transcript of record or a high school diploma. Next. Then, kailangan din natin ng certificate of employment and duly notarized certificate of experience. So, ano yung difference na itong dalawa? Yung certificate of employment, ito yung nagpapatunay na empleyado ka ng company. So, ito, not necessarily, kumbaga, pirmado to ng licensed practitioner. Pero yung duly notarized certificate of experience natin, since ito yung nagsicertify ng mga works mo as electrical engineering sa profession, kailangan pirmado ito ng licensed electrical practitioner. So next. And also, additional requirement is the NBI clearance, yung TESDA natin na either NC2 or NC3. So mayroong 3 TESDA na nakalagay dun sa PRBE resolution. Kailangan pa rin yan, sir. Kailangan pa rin yan. So it's either meron kang EIM o yung Electrical Installation and Maintenance, yung EPDLC, which is yung Electric Power Distribution Line Construction, tapos yung EPDOM, this is Electric Power Distribution, O is Operation and Maintenance yata. Oo. Dati wala yan prior 2022, pero nung ano po siya noong 2022 nung lumabas ng PRBE resolution, na-apply po yan noong 2023. Oo. So kailangan din nila ng affidavit of apprenticeship, and yung last is yung certificate of certifier from IIEE. So lahat ng mga professionals, yung licensed practitioners natin, RME, REE, and PEE, na merong mga tao na magte-take ng RME, yung mag-a-apply ng RME is kakailanganin nila ng certificate ng certifier from IIEE na magagaling dun sa licensed practitioner. So parang ganyan na po yung nire-require ngayon ng PRBE. And paano makuha yung certificate of certifier from IIEE? Next. So ito naman po yung ginawa ng IIEE. Yung Woods, i-clear mo yun, no? Parang di nila nababasa rito. Yun nandun sa taas. Hindi yung nakalagay dun sa screen. So yun. So nag-issue yung IIEE ng Memorandum Order Number 2026-004, which prescribe new mandatory requirements for the RME licensure examination for related purposes. Actually, ang first step dito na nakalagay is dapat yung professional natin is gumawa ng letter of intent. Na yung letter of intent na yun is ipapasa rin nila sa chapter president. So that is the first step. Tapos yung susunod na mga step dyan is kumbaga email niya ng chapter president. Pag na-email niya ng chapter president sa IIEE, si IIEE na yung mag-i-email dun sa professional na nangingi ng certifier nung certificate. Parang ganun yung mangyayari. So kailangan kayo makipag-coordinate sa chapter officers nyo kung gusto yung mag-certify ng mga mag-a-apply sa RME. So for the RME calendar this year, what's next? For the RME LE calendar for this year, noong June 5 is nag-start na po ng application yung RME licensure exam. Matatapos po yan on August 6. So at least a month before the date of examination. But please take note, dun sa mga mag-a-apply pa lang or dun sa mga tao nyo mag-a-apply, kindly remind them na yung ating process po sa RME licensure exam is FTB for the board. Which means na bago ma-release yung NOAA, yung notice of admission nila, is kailangan muna siyang personally i-approve ng PRBE. So kumbaga, kung approve yan, pwede silang ma-issuean ng NOAA, pero kung hindi approve yan, sa experience ng mga na-encounter namin, nag-i-email po yung PRC dun sa applicant para sabihin kung ano yung mga deficiencies. Para before ma-issuean ng NOAA, i-comply muna nila yung additional requirement na hinihingi ng PRC para ma-issuean sila ng notice of admission. So, kumbaga, kailangan lahat siya matapos by August 6. So, ang date of examination for this year is September 7. Yung sa REE and REE is September 5 and 6 yata. Next slide. So, yan. So, eto po yung data ng RME licensure examination natin. Kanina may nagtanong kung kailan na-apply yung requirement sa TESDA and yung sa certifier certificate. Yan po yung naka-color blue sa graph natin. Yung September 23, yan po yung start, and up to now, hanggang noong April 2026, nire-require po yung RMLE, and you can see the drop ng mga applicants po natin. Well, medyo sinasala sila, pero it's for the betterment of the profession. Yung RME licensure examination natin, yung hierarchy, kung mapapansin nyo, yung nandito sa kanan, diamond po yung structure natin ngayon. Mas marami po yung REE, pinakakonti yung PE, then susunod sa pinakamarami yung RME. And yung NLEP natin, nasa baba, hindi natin sila ma-account kasi since wala sila mga lisensya, hindi natin alam talaga kung ilan sila. Next ones. So what is the ideal? For the committee, para sa amin, ang pinaka-ideal sana for the manpower setup natin is like this one. Yung PE saka yung REE is nandun sa taas pa rin naman. PE yung pinaka-konti, sila yung nagsasign and seal. REE, sila yung mga nagsusupervise. Pero ang pinaka-hinihiling namin, or parang kumbaga minimithi natin, is yung mga RMEs madagdagan. And sila sana yung mag-occupy nung lower. And yung diamond is maging parang pyramid. So, inaano namin na mapataas pa yung RME natin. Of course, mapataas yan, pero sana quality. Kaya sinasala. So, one also of the hindrance na binabanggit, next slide please, para magkakuha ka ng lisensya is yung TESDA National Certification. It's always been an issue sa ating mga forums or sa mga assemblies, kahit sa mga chapters nyo, laging napagtatagpo yung dalawang yan na kumbaga sino daw yung mas mataas or sino yung mas mahalaga, kumbaga. Next slide please. So meron nagsasabi na pantay, meron nagsasabi na hindi, mas mabigat yung RME license natin kasi lisensya yan. Meron naman nagsasabi na hindi, mas matimbang yung TESDA natin kasi hindi ako maka-apply ng trabaho, ang tinatanggap nila is TESDA license lang. Pag RME, hindi nila tinatanggap pag walang TESDA. So let's see kung ano ba talaga yung pinaka-difference yung dalawang yan for the clarity. Next slide, please. So let's start first with the PRC RME license. Yung RME license po natin, ini-issue siya ng Professional Regulation Commission. Ito po yung katibayan or nagsicertify and nag-authorize sa isang tao na mag-practice ng kanyang profession as RME or as electrician na involve yung high level of specialized skill na parang kinakatigan na kung naipasa mo yung licensure examination. Pag meron ka neto, ang field of practice mo is nakabase rin sa batas. Ito yung kaninang pinresent natin, yung Section 31C of RA 7920. So you are legally, kumbaga, authorized to practice your profession under Section 31C kung meron kang lisensya. Whereas, next slide, kung meron ka namang TESDA, ang TESDA, ini-issue lang yan ng, yung TESDA certification or yung COC is ini-issue naman yan doon sa mga graduate or yung mga skilled worker na nagko-conform lang doon sa defined competency standard. So parang this is just a mere proof na meron kang, may training ka and competent ka doon sa skills na sinasabi based doon sa Philippine TVET TechBook Education and Training Qualification and Certification System. So under this NC, next slide please. Under this NC, meron tatlong competency na chine-check ang TESDA. So meron sila yung tinatawag na basic competencies, meron sila tinatawag na common, and meron din silang tinatawag na core competencies. Sa basic competency, kino-cover na ito yung foundational and transferable skills required sa effective workplace performance regardless of industry. So ito yung mga soft skills saka yung mga safety. Kaya mababasa nyo dyan minsan yung safety at workplace, etc. Andyan yun sa basic competency. Sa common competency, it involves general technical skills that apply to broad industry sector, katulad ng mga tool usage and calculations. So pag EIM, ang normal na lang dyan, kung marunong ka bang gumamit ng mga tools na ginagamit sa roughing ins. Kasi EIM yan so roughing ins yan. So yun yung nandun sa common competency. Then yung, di pa tapos. Then yung nasa core competency naman, ito naman yung nakapokus na sa specialized or job-specific technical skills required to perform a particular role and to earn the specific NC. So example, sa EIM NC2, nakafocus siya sa work as an electrician. So ang isang sample ng core competency under the NC2 is yung wrapping in activities, installation. Yan. So yun yung mga makikita mo, yan yung ipoprove mo. So next slide please. So the key differences, aside from the issuing agency na magkaiba, sa legal requirement, ang RME license is mandatory by law para mai-practice mo yung profession. Whereas yung TESDA, it is voluntary. Pero since nga pinuprove niya yung competency mo, more or less, pag medyo skilled yung ina-applyan mo, kailangan nila ng skills, talagang advantage yun sa employment. Kasi syempre, kung ako naghahanap ng tauhan, ang kailangan ko is skills, dapat. Ang hahanapin ko certification, malamang is TESDA. Kasi yun yung nagpo-prove ng skills. So, yun yung difference niya. So, prerequisite, syempre, ang RME license, diniscuss ko na kanina, meron siyang educational and practice requirement, whereas yung TESDA is wala siyang nire-require talaga. Ang nire-require niya lang is may pasamula yung trade test or yung competency assessment niya. Validity, RME license is 3 years, TESDA is 5 years, pero meron yatang batas na sinusulong sa Senate, di ko alam kung ano yung status. Parang yung RME yata is, di lang yung RME, pangkalahatan na to sa lahat ng merong lisensya, na parang gagawin na rin daw yatang 5 years. So sana maipasa na yun para medyo mas madali. Kaya nga sir. So next slide. So tulad ng sabi ko, it's always been an issue. Kaya actually, every year since 2016 yata, 2015, laman na namin to lagi sa RME Forum. Kinuha ko lang yung discussion dito ni Honorable Mapili last year during sa RME Forum sa ANC. Whereas sinabi niya na licensure is statutory requirement, meaning mandatory, para ma-practice mo yung electrical engineering profession. Kung TESDA holder ka, under RA 7920, you are not legally kumbaga able to practice the profession. So TESDA certification may support qualification since sinusupport niyan yung competency mo, pero still the legal authority to practice requires PRC RME license. Philippine Regulatory Commission, hindi yung Philippine Recto Commission. So yan. Then lastly, pag meron ka kasing lisensya, ito yung pinaka-importante binanggit ni Sir Francis last year. Pag meron kang lisensya kasi, it reflects na yung profession na may lisensya is nag-i-ensure na yung mga gawa niya is safe, may integrity, and compliant. Kasi kumbaga yan yung tinetest and in-own niya during dun sa lisensya niya. Kasi kumbaga katulad na itong mga sessions na ganito, kailangan pa natin mag-CPD. Bakit? Para mas matuto tayo kung ano yung mga compliant, kung ano yung safe. And baka kilos tayo with integrity. So yun yung difference natin doon sa mga TESDA. Kasi yung mga TESDA holder lang na walang lisensya, di nila masyadong alam kung ano yung safe. And hindi rin nila alam masyado kung paano mag-comply. Alam lang nila kung paano gawin yung mga bagay. So next slide. So may mga nagtatanong naman yung mga luma na RME or kahit yung mga RNPE natin. Meron na siyang lisensya, Kaso yun nga, nung nag-present tayo, na-curious sila kung paano sila magkaka-competency. Kailangan ko pa mag-training. Meron bang other means na pwede ako makapag-apply without undergoing the usual regular process of application? Kasi kung mag-aaral ako ng TESDA, like EIM, ilang hours yan? That's around 100 something hours. So ilang days din yan para mag-aaral ka. So ang TESDA, meron silang nirelease noong 2018 na memo. Next slide, Woods. So meron silang tinatawag na portfolio assessment. So this is under TESDA Circular number 47, series of 2018. Actually, it applies not only on the professionals, not only on the RME profession, not only to the electrical engineering profession, but also to other profession, dun sa kanya-kanyang NC. Tapos, pero applicable din to dun sa mga self-employed workers, yung mga practitioners natin na walang lisensya, na talagang yun yung work experience nila. So kahit yung mga RME applicant pa lang natin, kung talagang more than 10 years ka nang nagtatrabaho for that, tapos parang nag-iisip ka na gusto ko mag-take ng RME pero wala akong TESDA, ay mag-aaral pa ako, i-take mo na lang to, pinakamadali. Kasi ito, portfolio assessment lang. I-review lang ng TESDA, doon sa tinatawag nilang recognition of prior learning, yung mga requirement mo, then doon ka nila i-assess kung karapat-dapat ka ba nilang bigyan ng equivalent NC na ina-apply mo or hindi. Kasama rin dyan yung mga OFW kasi alam naman natin yung mga OFW walang TESDA abroad. So nagpa-practice sila doon, medyo mas mabigat minsan yung activity nila pero wala silang means para ma-certify ng TESDA yung certification nila. So pagdating nila rito, pwede nilang ipakita yung documents nila or experience nila sa abroad. Tapos pwede rin sila mag-apply for the recognition of prior learning or portfolio assessment. So the question is, ano ba yung eligibility? Next slide. Sino yung mga eligible para rito sa portfolio assessment? So number 1, yung mga merong ng at least 5 years na experience or relevant competencies qualifications being applied for. Example, kung ang expertise mo is motor controls, more or less, kung more on 5 years na experience mo, sabihin ang i-apply mo dapat sa TESDA is yung NC3 ng EIM. Kung naman nasa construction industry ka, you perform wrapping-ins and installation ng ating mga devices or building wiring or mga CCTV, etc. So pwede kang mag-apply ng EIM NC2. Kung lineman ka, pwede kang mag-apply ng APDLC, etc. So number 2 requirement for eligibility is that you must have complied the self-assessment guide. Downloadable naman to sa TESDA website. So may yes or no lang yan. Ang sabi sa akin nung member namin na provincial director, kung meron ka sinagutan doon na no, more or less, hindi ka papayagan ng TESDA mag-undergo ng portfolio assessment. So dapat ang sagot mo lahat doon sa self-evaluation is yes. Pero syempre dapat yung yes mo is may backup. Dapat talagang yes yung sagot mo kahit na pag na-interview ka, may backup yung mga yes na tanong doon. And lastly, dapat makapag-provide ka ng appropriate evidences. Kasi ito nga yung reason nung portfolio assessment. Sa portfolio ka na lang nila titingnan or i-assess. So kailangan mag-provide ka ng sufficient evidence. Next slide. So ano nga ba yung mga evidences na kailanganin? So merong mandatory, meron din parang other evidences. So sa mandatory, merong 4. So the first one, 3 lang pala. So yung first requirement is, una, kung wage employed, ibig sabihin yung meron kang employer, ang requirement mo is yung certificate of employment with job description indicating number of years employed signed by employer. So mas maganda rito kung magpapagawa kayo ng job description, kung nag-apply kayo ng kung anong NC, tingnan nyo yung core competency ng NC na ina-applyan nyo, more or less dapat nakaka-capture yun dito sa job description na ipapagawa nyo. Kung naman ikaw ay self-employed, kunyari nangungontrata ka, pwede mong ipakita dyan yung mga certification galing sa mga client mo, yung mga natapos mong project, pwede ka rin magpa-certify sa barangay chairman nyo, or ipakita mo yung mga business permit nyo para makita nila kung gaano nakatagal yung company mo. So ito yung first requirement. Next slide, please. So the second requirement is the resume or the curriculum vitae. So it indicates the written outline of education or learning outcome statements or informal record of past learning, achievements, and chronological record of significant learning and work experiences. Then lastly, since ipo-portfolio assessment ka, di ka na nila titingnan, hahanapin din nila sa iyo yung tinatawag na video coverage. So parang magpapaka-vlogger ka rito. Ipapakita mo sa test that through a video na dapat unedited and clear and within 20 minutes lang, na ginagawa mo yung sinasabi mo na ina-apply mo. Kung EIMNC2, pinapakita mo nag-wiring ka ng building, etc. Yung ganyan. Or nagkakanda ka ng wrapping-ins activity. Kung EPDLC, pinapakita mo na nag-ano ka sa linya, sa mga pole natin. So yan. So kailangan unedited yung video na ipapasa nyo sa TESDA. So yung mga vlogger may advantage na. Kasi may sa online may nakikita ako nagpo-post na mga yung my day kumbaga. Oo, yung Yes sir, may mga mas advantage yung mga ganun kasi at least meron na sila mga video evidences. So next slide please. So eto other evidences, at least 2, work samples, mga pictures ng mga work samples mo, or kung may mga plano yan, pwede may pakita. Awards or commendation or licenses. Siyempre kung lisensyado ka na, tapos related naman sa electrical yung ina-applyan mo na national certification, so pwede mong isupport doon yung lisensya mo na RME, REE, or PEE. Then of course yung training certificate or workplace training records related dun sa competencies na ina-apply mo. So kung i-apply mo yung sinabi kong requirement kanina sa RME, yung mga training natin dito sa IIEE or kahit ng mga chapters nyo, that is beneficial as supplement to this requirement. So ito yung big part. So punta na tayo dun sa second part ng presentation. This is about future-proofing the RME practice. These are the initiatives of your IIEE para dun sa ating practice kung paano ma-future-proof. So first of all, let's go to career path. So sa RME, ito yung typical na career path na dine-develop. So syempre mag-umpisa lagi yan sa pagpasa ng RME licensure exam. Pag naipasa mo na yan and you become a full-fledged RME, ang next step mo naman para sa sarili mo is to go specialize. Mag-specialize ka, i-upgrade mo yung sarili mo. Either you upskill or upgrade. So, pwede ka mag-specialize. Like example, yung nauso ngayon, solar PV installation, automation, etc. Or, pwede ka namang mag-upgrade ng mga lisensya. Marami ring opportunities sa mga RME to upgrade. Then, once you do that, at a later part of your career or of this RME career path, is magli-lead ka na ng team sa mga project. So, there will come a time na magli-lead ka and magsusupervise ka na. And after that, so after certain number of years, pag medyo nagagamay mo na yung ginagawa mo, that's the time na you can be considered as expert and consultant. So, pwede ka na makapagbigay ng expert advice on electrical safety and compliance standard. Of course, kung yung RME is mag-upgrade into REE, you will be having a different career path na. So, ito yung mga exclusive lang na kung baka kinoconsider na ang i-maintain muna nila is yung career path nila as RME. So, next slide please. So, the IIE in the past conducted several upgrading training. Ito yung mga initiatives namin before sa national. Pero yung mga local chapters natin, meron din silang meron din silang mga initiatives towards how to upgrade the licensure or the practice of RME. Next slide, please. So, any qualified RME can be upgraded with any of the following. So, ito yung ating mga opportunities or pwede nating i-upgrade sa lisensya natin. So, number 1 is as a licensed electrical engineer Of course, RME, hindi ka pinipigilan na maging licensed electrical engineer. Yun nga lang, syempre, since ang electrical engineer is kailangan BSE ka, kung hindi BSE yung course mo, kailangan mo pa rin mag-aral. And kung ayaw mag-aral from the scratch, meron ka na ma-experience, you might consider taking up the program through ITEAP. So yung ITEAP, parang ano rin yan, recognition of prior learning, i-assess nila yung experience mo, ibibigay nila yung mga nire-require na lang nila sa'yo na subjects para matapos ka. So medyo mas mabilis matapos ang ITEAP kumpara dun sa regular program. Pero ito ay para lamang dun sa mga practitioner talaga. Then the second one is yung, ito kung if you want to go beyond Philippines, gusto mag-practice sa labas ng Pilipinas, you can consider being a ASEAN technician or ASEAN engineering technologist. Merong committee yung IIA dito. Anong committee yung Arjen? Sila yung nagkakandak nung sa registry. AER, ASEAN Engineering Registry. So yun, may committee sa IIA for that. Pero kayo lumapit kung gusto nyo na makakuha niyang dalawang yan. Or either, just sa dalawa. So sa committee namin, meron kaming member na ASEAN technician. Meron din akong isang member na ASEAN engineering technologist na. Then of course, an RME can also upgrade as a safety practitioner. Pwede siya mag SO1, SO2, SO3, and safety consultant. So kumbaga, yung safety consultant, it is not limited to engineers. Meron kaming kasama sa committee na safety consultant na rin siya. So, it doesn't mean na RME ka, hindi ka pwede maging safety consultant. You can. Kasi yung practice naman dito as safety practitioner, yun yung tinitingnan. Parang secondary na lang yung license or supplement lang yung license. Also, you can apply as fire safety officer or an energy conservation practitioner through DOE AUMB. So, depende talaga to dun sa practice mo. Kung gusto mo naman magturo, meron kang TESDA, pwede kang mag-take ng teaching methodology or assessor's methodology, and you can consider being a TESDA instructor or assessor. Tapos, lastly, kung gusto mo naman magbarko, pwede mo i-consider yung ETR or ETO, yung electro-technical rating or electro-technical officer kung magbabarko ka. Ang RME is very qualified dyan sa dalawang yan. And the list goes on kasi marami pa talaga yan. Next slide. So RME upskilling, ito yung mga typical naman. Kaya katulad ng sinabi ko kanina, medyo kumbaga yung mga nauna sa akin, lahat ng topics nun talaga is related na rin naman talaga sa RME. So as an RME also, kumbaga hindi ko na kailangan mag-isip ng kung anong topic kasi yung iba relevant naman din talaga sa practice kahit sa RME. Pero ano ba yung mga pwede i-consider for upscaling na mga RME natin? Siyempre, number one, yung renewable energy. Nauuso yan. Kanina, sila Sir Perry nag-discuss about EV. Yung AI, diniscuss na rin kanina. That is part also of this list. Industrial automation and instrumentation, trends in innovation, electrical safety. Kasi habang kumbaga nag-i-improve or yung trend natin sa electrical industry is naging high-tech. Yung electrical safety natin, yung mga controls natin is medyo tumataas din ng requirement. Of course, we must learn how yung mga local laws and regulation. Kasi pwedeng iba't ibang lugar magkakaiba rin ng regulations. So kung gusto mo mag-practice, kung nagpa-practice ako sa Manila and later magpa-practice ako sa Mindanao, I must also study kung ano yung mga laws and regulation na different doon sa kung doon ako magpa-practice. Of course, yung PEC and other applicable codes, katulad ng sinabi ni Sir Conrad earlier, ganyan yung AI. Next. Then, RME advocacies, of course, as an electrical engineering practitioner, meron din tayo nilulook forward na advocacy. So ano ba yung mga advocacy natin na tinitingnan as an RME and as EE as a whole? So number one in the list is energy efficiency and conservation, Kaya di ba nung nagkaroon ng problema sa fuel, isa sa naglabas ng open letter si Honorable Adel Garcia reminding the responsibility of electrical engineers and electricians regarding conservation efforts. Then the second one is the patronizing standard products duly certified by DTI BPS or as tested in accordance with corresponding standards. Na-discuss to earlier ni Sir Conrad. Then the third one is performing installations that complies with the requirements of PEC and or other similar codes and safety standards to ensure protection of lives and properties. Na-discuss nito earlier ni Sir Conrad. Then of course, dapat as licensed practitioner, medyo nabasa na natin to dapat. Yung revised code of ethics kasi dapat mag-adhere tayo rito. This was issued last 2024. So meron silang in-issue revised code of ethics for licensed electrical engineering practitioners in compliance with current legal, moral, environmental, and technological standards. So if you have time, take a look at it. It's PRBE Resolution number 65, series of 2024. And of course, as a practitioner, we must always respect our fellow practitioners and ensure fair competition. Siyempre, kumbaga, tayo-tayo lang din na nagkikita sa ending. So if you want to do it right, and do it fair. Next slide, please. So of course, in the past, kumbaga, ang IIAs hindi naman tulog regarding sa concerns ng mga RME. So in the past, may mga pinapasa silang mga resolutions, board resolutions, para rin sa kapakanan ng ating mga kapatid na RMEs. So ito yung iba or ito yung mga nasa recent past natin. So the first one is yung pag-institutionalize ng RME affairs at chapter level. So itong resolution na to, binabanggit niya rito na dapat yung mga chapters talaga natin is meron na tayong mga RME affairs sa mga chapter. Bakit? Ayan yung mga reason. It aims to strengthen the Institute's program for RME and NLEPs, encourage active participation of RMEs and NLEPs, you encourage RME to upgrade, papunta dun sa REE, and encourage unity and camaraderie among the RME professionals and electricians. Next slide, please. Yung manual of operation natin noong 2021, binabanggit na rin naman na to. So it mandates under Article 12, Section 1, regular committees ng mga chapter natin, binabanggit nila rito ni IIAE na yung mga chapters dapat merong RME Affairs and Electricians Academy Committee to assist the Executive Committee and the Board of Directors in initiating programs and activities for non-licensed but experienced electricians to become licensed practitioners. Tulad nga nasabi ko kanina, ang TESDA is just a certification of skills. Pero yung lisensya natin, yun yung living proof na pwede ka mag-practice. Next slide, please. So nung March or April, nagkandak kami ng survey. We gathered 31 response from 31 chapters nationwide. And based dun sa nakalap namin na survey, almost half or more than half is wala pa talaga na formal, kumbaga walang formal na RME committee. Yung 41.9 meron na, halos kalahati. Pero yung more than kalahati is halos wala pa talaga. Next slide, please. Tapos tinatanong din namin kung ano yung rate nila dun sa RME development. Medyo may kulang pa. Kaya ito rin yung nilulook forward ng IIAE sa kanong committee namin. Nagbibigay kami ng mga recommendation on how to improve these numbers. Next slide, please. So for the NLEPs, ganun din, tinanong namin kung meron na bang structure. Katulad nung nakita nyo kanina, nasa manual of operation na siya. Pero sadly, almost half of them said na wala pa silang structure or committee na nag-handle for the non-licensed electrical practitioners. Next slide, please. Same with the programs. So dito, halos more than half said na wala pa silang structured engagement towards the non-licensed electricians. Next slide, please. Then additional that, noong 2021, meron din silang nilabas na board resolution na ina-approve din nila yung eligibility ng RME para tumakbo as or mag-serve as chapter president. Prior to this, marami na rin naman po tayong naging presidente sa mga chapters na RME. Pero since noong 2019 or 2018 yata, nung naging regular member yung RME, noong 2021 lang nila pinormalize through a board resolution na talagang pwede na or eligible yung mga RME natin na maging chapter president. With this, yung mga RME is in-encourage din naman talaga na maging member or maging officer sa ating mga local chapters. Next. Then of course, yung 2023-07102, ito yung nag-approve ng procedure supplementing the PRBE resolution regarding the requirements, updated requirements. So para makatulong yung IIE doon, nag-set din sila ng process para malinaw din sa mga members kung paano yung pag-apply as certifier. Next slide, please. Then also on that year, in-approve din nila yung Nationwide Electrician Integration Proposal for related purposes. Actually, ito na, sa work program pa to ng committee namin, itong EIP, Electrician Integration Program. Within itong program na to is meron tatlong component. The first component is yung electrician enhancement. This is the theoretical aspect ng program. Nakafocus siya dun sa compliance or practice ng mga electricians tungo dun sa PEC and electrical safety standards. Meron din kami na skills enhancement program. Ito naman yung papunta dun sa practical na ang leading naman niya is papunta sa certification ng TESDA. Tapos, ang eventual na ending niyan is yung RME mentoring program, which alam naman natin na pag naipasa mo yan, magiging member ka ng institute and magiging full-fledged RME ka. Next slide, please. So, under this EIP, meron siyang 5 objective. So, the first objective is yung ma-upgrade yung competency ng mga non-licensed practitioner natin. This EIP is designed for non-licensed electrical practitioner. So, yung competence upgrading, ito tinuturuan dito yung mga non-licensed dun sa mga codes natin para aware lang din sila. And syempre, lumalabas din yan sa board exam nila. Next slide. The second part is yung TESDA certification. We encourage the chapter to have an memorandum of understanding or agreement with their local TESDA para ma-realize to na kumbaga ma-certify or matulungan silang ma-certify yung skills ng mga non-licensed practitioners under their chapter sa TESDA. So next slide please. So the third one, eto nag-umpisa na to way back late 90s siguro, yung electricians roster. So through this program, ini-envision namin na yung mga chapter is makapag-establish ng competent roster, ng competent NLEP para kumbaga kung kunyari kakailanganin ng isang practitioner, ng licensed practitioner ng tao, madali siya makapag-manpower pooling. At the same time, para dun sa NLEP naman, medyo add sa kanya yon kasi kumbaga kailangan din naman niya ng apprenticeship. Kailangan niya ng someone na may lisensya na magsusupervise sa kanya. So nagkaroon na nito ng initiative yung specs nung early 2000 and late 90s under the helm of Engineer Rodolfo Peñalosa. Hindi ko lang alam kung ano yung nangyari doon. But with this EIP, we are envisioning na magkaroon sana ulit ng ganyan na roster within the chapter or at the chapter level. Next slide please. So eto, kaka-approve lang last MYNC, yung auxiliary membership. So yung mga qualified na mag-auxiliary, in-encourage din under this program na mag-apply sa auxiliary member. So para dun sa mga wala rito ng mid-year, ang alam ko is approved na sa bylaws natin, nilalakad na lang po yata sa SEC, na yung mga may NC natin na kapatid na non-licensed, is pwede na sila mag-apply as auxiliary member ng IIEE. Pero syempre may guidelines pa na ginagawa yung IIA for that. And lastly, Woods, Next. Siyempre, yung eventual na pinaka-final na balak is yung makapasa, yung tinetrain natin under this program sa RME licensure exam. And it will open the door to other upgrading later. Kasi pag RME ka na, tulad ng sabi ko kanina, pwede ka rin maging RE later, pwede kang maging ASEAN technician, pwede kang maging safety practitioner, etc. etc. So it will open doors, kumbaga. So next slide. So eto, last June 13, so nagpapasalamat ako kay VP Tech, kay Sir Sulicar, nakita ko online na rin siya. Dahil nilaban niya rin to yung proposal namin na magkaroon ng one-day dedicated activity for RMEs and NLEPs during regional conferences. We conceptualize this as Electrician Summit. Kumbaga para every conferences, meron ding involvement doon yung mga electrician natin, yung mga non-licensed. Kasi yung mga non-licensed natin parang student din naman yan eh. They are the future members of our institute. So yung student natin, BSc student, they're future REE. Yung mga non-licensed naman natin na practitioner, in-encourage din natin silang maging active sa IIE kasi sila naman yung future RME natin. So this initiative is expected to, number one, strengthen regional membership engagement. Letter B, encourage broader participation in regional conferences. C, promote professional unity across different license classifications kasi may encourage natin yung mga electricians na umattend ng conferences. And lastly is yung reinforce IAE's commitment to inclusivity and competence building. Next slide, please. So I think this is the last slide I have, yung reminder lang kung ano ba yung mga membership benefits natin as a regular member of the institute. So RME, REE, or PEE, we can always avail membership benefits of IIEE. So inquire nyo na lang sa respective chapters kung ano-ano yun or sa membership department. Meron silang mga medical assistance, life assistance, etc. Then of course, we can always participate and get involved with chapter management and activities. Apply as life member. Kumbaga, as regular member, after 12 years, we can apply always as life member. Then after another 5 or 6 years, pwede na tayo mag-apply as senior member. Pero syempre, subject yun sa existing guidelines. Then of course, kung gusto mo ma-recognize din yung work mo as a practitioner, you can always bid or you can always ask your chapter to bid for you for the most outstanding electrical practitioner awards. Yung most outstanding electrical practitioner awards, although di ko lang alam kung tapos na to, yung kung deadline na neto. Pero kumbaga, open din to sa mga RME. I see the guidelines, meron dito yung EE, Electrical Engineer, tapos meron din sila na mga category. Sa RME, meron din silang most outstanding RME there, and meron na rin siyang mga category. So kumbaga, it is always, kumbaga yung reward para doon sa mga active sa chapter nyo na makonsider nyong i-bid for this. And lastly, of course, as a member of the institute, we can always network and collaborate with other licensed electrical practitioners. Kumbaga tayo yung magkakapatid dito sa IIE, sa practice natin. So let's help one another. So with that, I think that's the last slide. Thank you and magandang hapon.
Ayun, thank you so much po. Once again, Mr. Marcelito A. Mangawang, the chairman of our RME-AC committee. Ayan. And short, ano lang sir, para i-appreciate namin ang inyong effort. Dito na lang sir. Allow me to present this certificate of recognition. So this certificate of recognition is presented to Sir Marcelito A. Mangawang for imparting valuable insights as resource speaker on the topic IIEE programs for RMEs and NLEPs during the 2026 Technical Summit held on June 27, 2026 at IIEE National Office. Signed by Engineer Frederick R. Calamlam, National Secretary, Engineer Joseph Darren Claire S. Solicar, the National Vice President for Technical Affairs, and Engineer Robert Yumabulay, the National President. Thank you so much po, Sir Marce.
Mag